Riley got an
What's up,
afro.
guys? It is Will here, back again for another episode of Lights, Camera, Collect. And I have an amazing, handsome, beautiful, talented, epic panel here. Avengers level panel. 3 Avengers, the 3 Amigo Avengers. Guys, we're going to talk about a lot of fun, cool, awesome stuff tonight. The Hot Toys Black Panther that was announced. If we have time, the Chrome Mando layout. It's back on pre-order. So
Is
I don't know
it?
if anyone's going to trust what anyone Sideshow does.
Hold up, the Chrome.
Yeah.
Which one?
The collector's edition.
Oh,
the
it's
one
up
that was
again.
waitlisted.
Son of
it's
a
back
bitch.
again.
Well,
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna get it through them anyway.
Yeah, it's fine. So, but guys, we'll try to talk about that. SooSoo Toys Invincible, that God of War figure. I know not many people ever talked about that one. I don't know if we have a price yet for that. I can't really seem to find a listing, but I do know that it does exist. Yeah, it does exist.
Yeah,
so
it's going to go nuts now because that game, bro, like that, everybody there, bro, you know, a game's dope when they talk about it on the news.
Bro, who was talking about, like CNN or something?
It was on NBC.
NBC?
Yeah, the other morning they were talking about it, like the release,
bro.
and how people were talking about it and stuff like that. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because they were talking about the commercial with Ben Stiller.
Yeah, they did that.
Yeah, so they were talking about that, and they brought of course the game up. Yeah.
That's gonna be pretty cool, man. All right, guys, we're gonna do that. We're gonna talk about Hot Toys collecting, some other stuff, and statues if we have time. So maybe even Spider-Man. So, guys, before we address the chat, let's go and address this beautiful panel. Mr. Rileyreviewz, bro, is that your cat jumping?
Yeah,
Bro,
I tried muting, bro.
You don't have to close it. It's fine.
Sorry,
it's totally fine.
man.
Let people see the cat, bro. Come on now. Look at that. Look at that, Riley.
I tried to close it.
How old is that cat, Riley?
I think he's like a couple months, like 8 months. He's still kind
Oh,
of like a kid.
dude, look at him. He loves you, bro. Come on now.
He's
Really?
chilling there.
Because I was going to ask, but I was like, maybe not.
You heard that little meow? You heard that little subtle meow?
Yeah. I was like, oh shit.
That's what cats do when they want to
meow.
action, dude.
Yeah, but dude, I'm doing great, man. Thank you for the invite, Will. Just gonna have a nice, fun show here, and I'm excited about it. I saw Black Panther yesterday. That was lit. That was
Nice.
really cool movie. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about everything, man.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for joining, Riley. And yeah, man, we'll jump to the layout. Mr. Layout 16 scale, man. How you doing?
What's up, bro?
This fine evening.
Yeah, man, I'm good, bro. It's going to be an exciting day. This is day 2 of my Black Panther adventure. I went to see it last night. I love the film. I'm going to go see it today. It's a red carpet event tonight, so we're going to actually go check that out. So yeah, I can't wait, man. it's a good day. Great.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be fun, guys. I actually think since we're gonna have a little bit shorter of a show this evening, so I'm actually gonna skip addressing the chat. I hope you guys understand on that one, just because I want to have enough time for us to get through as many topics as we can in the limited amount of time that we have. So we should be good for like an hour. So we'll try to do as much as we can. But guys, let's just jump straight into the first topic. Let's talk about Black Panther, because this went up for pre-order earlier this week, right? And now we won't spoil anything. No spoilers on the show whatsoever. So we will not spoil a single thing, but we will say now we all know who this is.
Yeah.
And what's going on with this film. So $264 for this Black Panther. It does show, I know people had commented this in my preview, it will have a head sculpt. So that will be shown soon. I'm assuming they did not show it because Marvel did not want them to show it, because Marvel didn't show who the Black Panther was in the trailers. So they wouldn't want Hot Toys to do it either. So makes total sense. But Leo, I want to start with you on this one. This Black Panther, dude, $264, the new Black Panther. What are your overall thoughts on it, man?
Worth it.
That's it.
Worth it. No, listen, bro. Like
dude, it is, yeah.
Listen, we talked about this, briefly the other day. Like I think what bodes well with this, and it leans, I think the feminine aspect of this particular figure, and it's the feline aspect of it. It makes it such an amazing piece, bro. I'm happy about it. Now that we know who it is, it just makes sense. But again, it's an amazing piece for me. I love the character in the film. I love what they did with it. And even though this film did answer a lot of questions, so basically I was excited about it once they released it. I mean, now here's the biggest question for me is like how deep in this line are they going to go? We know that 265 with Sideshow. I actually pre-ordered it through them, used some points. I got it down to about 216 shipped. So that's still a pretty good piece to have. And again, we know that with Black Panther, bro, any type of figure that drops in this line, like they did with the first one, they'll sell out. You know what I mean? It'll sit for a little bit, but then it sells out. It goes. It's a very popular line, dope IP. So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited about that. To have this, hope they do name more. I mean, hope we get some of the Dormalaje. Hope we get a Koye. I do know that it's obvious that we know that we're going to get that Ironheart suit.
Yeah, that's gonna
that's
happen.
just basically going to happen, you know, for a lot of people. Even though for me, you know, it's a the suit, not the film, but the suit itself is a mixed bag for me. You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Because it looked like it literally, the suit in the film for me looked like Metroid, bro.
Yeah, it does a little bit, kind of Power Ranger.
Yeah, it looks like
so
I was like, and you know, so again, it was all right, but we'll see that. But again, I hope they go deep into this line and give us, you know, more figures. But yeah, man, I'm definitely excited about this piece. It'd be a dope addition to anybody's collection, just depending on what they got. If they already have Black Panther, if they're going down that line, you might as well just jump in on it. For me, myself, I'm heavy on this line. I might even get two. One to actually have with the helmeted version, and you know, pretty much with the head sculpt itself. So yeah, I had to be careful because I was about to say.
I know, bro. You got it's very easy because there's a lot in this film that's very surprising. So I think you could very easily say a spoiler.
Definitely.
Right.
So,
but I will say, Leal, and this is not a spoiler. I feel like if there were any film to give you an Okoye figure, this would be the one. So I would say that's. I think that's gonna happen. I think it's gonna happen this time.
Definitely a standout.
Yeah. I think it's gonna happen. Yeah.
Definitely be the one because she was a beast in this movie. I mean, if you thought she was a beast in the last one, she was a beast in this movie.
She was kicking people's butts.
Like, but I will say, Leo, also Namor. I need a Namor, bro. I need Namor is the character I actually want most from this film. Like, I really loved Namor in this film,
bro.
Really his
storyline. It was, and again, we're not going into any type of spoilers, but his storyline made so much sense. It did, and then on top of that, the way he portrayed it was incredible, and Namor was a beast.
Bro, he messed some shit up.
He did.
He was a beast. So yes, definitely, man. I hope they definitely, when they do it, it has to be seamless though.
Do seamless shoulders, everything. It's got to be seamless.
It has to be seamless. If you can do, bro, if you can give us a seamless Hellboy,
Ahsoka and Hellboy,
come on, man, you can do it. It can be done.
It can be done. Riley, what do you think about this Black Panther, bro?
Dude, it looks great. It really does. I mean, as soon as I saw this announcement, just even like the detailing on like the actual suit, like the print of it, just looks really good, like really awesome. They definitely got it accurate, and I'd say that for me, since I'm being very, very picky with the MCU, like which ones I'm kind of choosing because I want to be really selective with the high amount we have. This will be one that I'd probably pass on, or I'd pick it up later down the road, but that doesn't take away. I'm sorry, Leo. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I can't do it. No. But it doesn't take away from the figure at all. It's really amazing. I mean, we talked about this, like $264 for a Marvel Hot Toy is crazy. Like I really wasn't expecting that. I thought this was gonna be like at least like $290 or something. So that's a really nice price. Nice sticker price. So
coming with the head sculpt as well.
Exactly. So you got a head sculpt
price. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like it doesn't come with that much, but for $264, I mean that's a pretty good deal. I'd say so. So I'm excited about it. It looks really good. I feel like this is one that's just gonna look really good. Like when you get it in person, like the figure, like the aesthetic of it just looks really awesome. And I saw some photos like people took at the actual like secret base or whatever, and it looks like even better, like in person. It looks really, really good.
But you know who I'm happy for?
Yeah,
I'm really happy for Luminar, bro.
Yeah, she
wanted this piece so bad, so I'm so excited for Luminar to have this. I know we're gonna, so I know we're gonna talk about it. Probably probably next week during Figure Flex Friday, we'll have a conversation about it. But I know she is super excited about it.
I'm excited for Lumi on this one because it's a really cool looking figure. It has a lot of cool accents and the gold and the blue and the black. Like I always said, Leo, it's like I feel like it's a combination between Killmonger's suit and T'Challa's suit. Like they were totally different, right? Killmonger had like the gold flashy suit, and T'Challa had the more like just kind of simple black suit that was more like stealthy, right? So I think that's kind of, they had different styles. So, and I think, this character is somewhere in between. So yeah, man. So I think pretty cool, man. So hopefully people will get a chance to pick that one up. But 264, we can't complain about that.
Definitely can't complain about it,
in
bro.
today's market. So
And
guys,
I'll say this.
Yeah, what's up?
And this is I'll just say this. She would look really good next to Killmonger.
Yeah,
Dude,
she would,
that
bro.
would look badass.
Well, I think if
Yeah.
you had any of the Black Panther figures, that this character would look great.
The whole
I mean,
lineup, yeah.
Like if you had the
Yeah.
lineup, all the suits have their own sort of unique
Yeah.
spin, and I love even
Right.
T'Chaka. I mean, everyone slept on T'Chaka. Like that figure is actually pretty cool from what I've
Yeah.
seen. So,
Oh yeah.
and that would look really cool. But absolutely, bro. So, guys, let's talk about this real quick. The Hot Toys Chrome the Mandalorian. And the reason I wanted to bring this up, someone dropped this to me in a comment. I probably wouldn't have known that this was even happening, but it went back on pre-order for the collector's edition, right? And the reason I bring this up is because I've seen this sentiment expressed a lot, that people don't trust that Sideshow is waitlisting these things and it's actually real. So I think this is a bad look for them, because people are going to look at this and be like, I knew Sideshow was playing games. I knew I'm not going to pre-order again. So I feel like even maybe the more savvy people, maybe the people who don't watch these type of YouTube shows or live streams, they don't know and they don't care. But I think for some people who see this type of stuff, you're like, well, it was on waitlist. So when's Peacemaker going to come back, right? Or when's Kate Bishop? Like, what's next? So I get Mando was announced way sooner and it's coming out sooner. But I think this type of thing that Sideshow has done many times kind of backfires in a sense, because then people start to say, like, if you're trying to like incentivize pre-orders and create a little FOMO, this does the opposite, because then you look at it and you're like, well, like, why would I'm going to call your bluff, basically. I'm like, I might not get the figure, but I feel like there's a chance you might put it back up for pre-order. I don't think that's the case. I think this is real. I think what they're doing is real. I think Mando is just the exception because it was announced so long ago and it's so popular. So I think it's a little bit different. But I don't think. I'm not convinced Peacemaker's coming back, Leo. But what do you think? What do you think?
The reason why I think this is, I can't say that it's. The reason why I think the thing is, it's a whole. Everything's a look. It's a bad look. I say that for the simple fact that, number one, what did we see? Like at one point, all right, I'll bring up Cable. So when Cable dropped, there was the regular edition deluxe version with the shield, okay, with the energy shield. That energy shield went on waitlist. Like literally, that one went on waitlist, but the regular version was available. When the figure was released, then they took the regular version off waitlist. Now, that could have happened for multiple different reasons. People decided to cancel that order, go for the regular version. Could have did that. But it's the simple fact that those premature, it's like it's a reaction for them. Their reaction is, okay, wait a minute. People are leaning towards this. We don't have enough in stock. Let's waitlist it. Let's just see how many people we get. It's not going to look good, because it's like people who may not be able to afford it at that time, or may not even be able to afford it in NRD, will put money down on these figures thinking that, okay, this is the only chance I have. And then you take it off waitlist, bro. That's definitely not a good look. It's not. I don't care how you basically anybody try or Sideshow tries to spin it. That's definitely not a good look. If it happens, if you're not absolutely sure that you want to waitlist or that you're going to have the stock to kind of match, you know what I mean, then don't be quick to really react. Wait things out and just see how it's going to actually go. Give people a fair chance, because it just looks to me like, okay, they're just trying to get as much money as they actually can on a figure at that point. Like, you know what I mean? They know that we ourselves as content creators have been pushing this whole don't pre-order movement. So what they're doing right now is saying, okay, all right, well, if you're not, and based on the simple fact that we have already ordered this much, you know what I mean, our batches are this particular size, we have to kind of, residual gain is a must. So we're going to try to get that money as quickly as possible. So what they do is they waitlist it and put that notification out there, add that blue strip, whatever, letting people think that, again, it's low stock, get it while you can. And then when you do it, once it's fulfilled, or they fulfilled just enough, they'll wait a couple weeks or about a week and say, all right, let's just put it back up. Thinking that you're not really going to, or no one's going to see it. You know what I mean? Come on, man, stop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Leo. It just kind of, and I get it's a business at the end of the day. They want to sell as many units as they can, but it's this type of thing where they're, I guess, trying to change people's mentality where, and normally I wouldn't care as much about this, but if they're trying to change everyone's mentality where, like, we want to incentivize you and convince you to pre-order again, this does the opposite of that. So if you're trying to drive home that message, then a very popular figure like this actually sends the opposite message. It sends conflicting messages, and then people get confused. So Riley, what do you think about this?
So I'm kind of on both sides here. Like, because for instance, I mean, this one did go back on pre-order, so I do get why. Yeah, it's definitely a bad look. I'm just like more like convinced otherwise though, because the Peacemaker for stars, like you said, the Peacemaker, I think that wait listed like 3 months ago, like a long time ago. It's been a couple months, and I mean, we still haven't seen it come back on pre-order. So it is kind of strange how this one specifically would come back. I mean, I think, like you said, Will, that's a good like point. How this is probably a more popular character, so Sideshow's just like, okay, we're just gonna get another like batch anyways. Let's just click the non-waitlist and put it back on pre-order because we're gonna get another batch of this guy. Because I mean, it's the Mandalorian; it's gonna get a lot of orders. So I'd probably say that would be more towards their direction. But one like main point that I'd say about all this, I just wish that Sideshow would kind of more communicate what they're actually doing rather than just doing like these wait lists and not wait lists and then coming back. Like, I think, in my opinion, it would be a lot smarter for Sideshow to say like, okay, given the economy right now and with certain batch sizes and stuff, we're going to make sure that we're trying to order like as little as we can at the moment, or we can like address that these wait lists are actually wait lists rather than it just being like, oh, it's just a wait list and maybe it'll be here, maybe it'll be here. I just think that it kind of just gets collectors, even me, like confused. Like, should I pre-order? Should I not? Like, I think it would be a lot smarter for Sideshow to just kind of address the issue that collectors are having. That's what.
Do you think they should put up like a quantity size per order? Like, okay, this, like for instance, I'll give you an example. Kate Bishop. Okay, we're only going to get X amount of these. Excuse me. I had to burp. Of these particular figures. I did. X amount of these particular figures live on TV, right? These amount of figures. So here's your chance to basically secure the asset. That's just like, for instance, we're going to go into that a little bit later, I guess. But with the third-party figures, with that roll, that's exactly what they did. They gave you an edition size, so you had a chance to really order it. You know that they were only making 300. So that was valid. You know what I mean? At that point. Now, if they sell out and if the demand's there and they decide to basically recast, do it again, then that's cool. But at least they let you know in the very beginning, this is how much or how many was available. With Sideshow, you have no idea. With Hot Toys, you really have no idea. So to put these out there, get all these pre-orders or let us know. It's like now, it's like for figures that you want. Like, for instance, I was just looking here, Good for Health. He said, yo, they got me with that Goblin. I wanted the DX and it's still up. You know what I mean? So they put it out there like it was selling out, but now it's still there for a lot of people. So it's like, okay, I mean, is that what you want to do? Is that the type of mentality or the behavior or perpetuation that you want to sell to these, you know, to customers, that when they see this, it's like they don't know whether or not they should push it or not. Like they should get it or maybe just, you know what I mean? Because it's now like, especially if a figure that you really, really want. You know, if you really, really want something, what are you going to do at that point? Like you have to, or do you, if you think if there's enough demand for it, you're going to have to try to either say, because for me, that Bestman Luke, I was like, yeah, maybe I have to right away. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I don't know and I don't want to risk that, bro. But when you see stuff like this, it's like, yo, you're selling a false narrative, bro.
Well, and that's kind of my thing, Leo. Sideshow has always got a little bit of heat from that, but I guess in the days where everything was like in the last couple of years, everything has been so plentiful and oversaturated that we really haven't cared because you can still get it pretty much whenever. But now Sideshow, I think, is taking a new approach and creating a new mentality of trying to get people to pre-order again. But when this type of stuff is happening, then people were like, oh, they're unwilling to sort of recognize what you want them to recognize, like what you're showing them. Because I get what you're saying, Riley, about communication. And I agree. I think with Sideshow and Hot Toys, they've just shown consistently that they're not going to do it. So to me, it's like I just have to trust what they're showing us. And that's the problem. Like when they do this, it shows opposite messaging. So, and that's my whole point with this. Like, I just feel like, yeah, this is an older figure that is maybe before they started doing all this stuff, but sometimes it's as simple as it was a website glitch, right? But but that's still like that needs to be resolved because you're convincing people to pre-order because you're getting that FOMO, and then they feel kind of duped a little bit, and that's kind of what I think is negative. Yeah, they're probably still going to buy it at the end of the day. Yeah, but you don't want to upset your customers like that. So like it's just not ideal. So to me, I don't know, this Mandalorian, I'm going to get it, but I waited on this, Riley, and you know that because I was just kind of like, you know what, I'll wait for the deluxe because the deluxe was still there. And Leo, like you mentioned with, I think it was Good for Health said about Goblin, like that Goblin's been marked as low stock for a while. I mean, it's been like maybe a week or two. Like, I mean, and like maybe just people aren't buying it. I don't know, but I mean,
well, maybe, and I thought about that. I'm like, well, maybe it's still in stock, you know, and it's still available because again, they did, you know, give us the 2.0, that Goblin version. I mean, the hobo version. So that one dropped. Maybe people are paying more, you know, attention to that one, closer attention to that one than they are this one. Because I know I am. I still didn't pre-order it yet, but if it gets to that point where it says low stock, But
yeah.
what I might do again, because Ray, Underground Figures, that's my guy. That's
Nice.
my go-to. I hit
Yeah.
up Ray. Hey Ray, can you put that goblin on on my list, please? Yeah, I got you, bro. Don't worry about it. There you
There
go.
you go.
So that's my go-to. I go to him. He'll have it available for me. At least I know there's full transparency with Ray. He'll hit me
Yeah.
up sometimes and be like, "Hey, I'm getting this in stock. Is this a figure that you might be interested in?" Oh, hell yeah. Do you want me to add it? Yes. Thank you. That's just the way he is. You know what I mean? He's fully transparent. Ray, Underground Figures all day, every day.
There you go.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. That's what we like. We like transparency. Not that we, that I don't want to act entitled, but at least I know that I have the confidence in the company. Not saying that Sideshow doesn't instill a level of confidence, because with their customer service, we know they are plus sign when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. They
But
really
it's
are.
just a simple fact that when it comes to something like this, it's like jumping the gun, then to find out that you didn't have to jump the gun. Man, it's like,
Right.
it's like Riley promised you a churro and then you open the box and it's just the dough uncooked.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I
And
exactly.
yeah, to wrap up the thoughts on this one, I would say that typically, like if you wanted the figure anyway and you just happen to pre-order it, then there's no problem there. I just think the issue comes into play. You're the cat. The issue comes into play.
That was me.
Oh, was it you? Okay. I wasn't looking at the screen. Or it was a meow. So, but I would just say the issue comes into play like with the messaging, like consistency matters.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
so anyway. Guys, great thoughts on that one. Let's jump
the
into something a
bodega
little bit big picture as well. Buying third-party figures. Lael had
Yes.
mentioned the Rogue, so I actually
Yes.
want to show that. They're calling it
Show
the Anna
it.
Marie.
Anna Marie,
So-
let's go.
Marie.
Yeah, right. So,
My
and I think
baby.
this is pretty cool. So because
Yes, it
it's one of those
is.
figures where, like Lael had mentioned, they announced an edition size 400. So
Yes.
that's really not that many, right? So
Nah.
it's pretty cool. So I want to just kind of address the idea of buying third-party figures in general. So with you, Riley, on this one, how do you kind of approach this? Do you buy any third-party figures? Do you have tips for people that are beginning into buying this type of thing? Like any sort of strategies that you would recommend to people? Because I know with me, I tend to take certain approaches with it, but I kind of want to hear your guys' thoughts
Right.
before I jump in.
Right. So for me, I actually have never owned a third party, but I've been tempted like with plenty of the ones, because there's a lot of really cool third parties out there. And I mean, particularly with like certain figures, like for the best example I can give is of Homelander. Like that figure, I want that figure so badly, like in my collection of a Homelander, but
Yeah,
just
right.
like getting the actual license to a Star Ace is just like a no-brainer. You can't do that because it just turned out really bad. So I feel like you kind of have to go with third party there. But there's been like so I think they do have the Homelander, but like for me, the tips for me, I'd say is, for one thing, if you do really want like a third party figure, I'd say don't wait till like the last minute to get it, because I've heard that third parties are ones that you kind of really can't like be like Sideshow. You're like, okay, I'm gonna wait. I'll see if it like blue. It's like it's not like that with pre-orders. Like with third parties, you're always gonna have like a cutoff, and then it's just gone from like usual sites. It'll be in stock in some places, but by the time it actually releases, for the most part, it's gonna be gone. Like you're not gonna be able to find it. And another tip I'd say is also like do your research with each third party company. I think that's super important, because there's a lot of third parties like previously like that have had issues with figures, like a lot of big issues, and you may not know that, and you ordered with that company, and then when it finally comes out, you're kind of annoyed because like it didn't really turn out what the proto is. Because a lot of these third parties, like the protos look fantastic, and then when it comes to the final, it's like takes a whole 180 turn, and it's just horrible. So you have to be really careful. This one, for instance, I know Willie, this is one that's you really like. I know the Cloud, or what is it? What
Cloud,
company made it?
Cloud Strife.
The Game Toys, right?
Game Toys,
it looks really good, dude. But that's the best advice I'd say. I'd say if you do really want to pre-order one, I mean, their NRDs I think are like $40. So I feel like the risk for me with certain figures, like the Homelander, for instance, like if there was a really good looking third-party Homelander, I'd pre-order it, just because it's like, I think it's like probably $35 or 45 on the NRD. And then if it does turn out so bad, like I'm just going to be like, okay, I lost $35 on the shot of getting a character I really want in my collection. So I'd say just make sure to pre-order the ones that you do really want, because I know they sell out lately. And especially with SooSoo, with the limited releases, I would not take my chances on that. That's what I'd say.
Right. Right. What about you, Leo? What kind of, I know you buy third party just like I do, but maybe even more than,
Yeah.
what'd you say, Leo?
I said I buy third-party figures like it's a bag of chips, bro.
Yeah, bro. Because you probably I buy them a decent amount nowadays, but probably
Yeah.
you do more than I do. But what would you give tips to people that are looking to dip their toes into the third party world?
If like honestly, if you're looking for a figure, if you have an idea, and here's what I've noticed: if you have an idea about a figure, if you want a release of a figure, if there's enough attention drawn to that actual figures, these companies will listen. I know, for instance, SooSoo Toys, you put it up as soon as that Gambit was released. People were putting up on the page, I want to see Rogue. I actually put a picture of Rogue, and the guy that owns it, he hit up, or he actually put like an emoji under it, a smiling emoji, and he said shh, like as if it was coming.
Nice.
So I knew like over a year ago that they were going to drop it. It was something that I wanted. It bodes well towards, there go Jonathan, my guy. It was something that I definitely wanted. It bodes well for, it's like a nice companion piece next to Gambit. Again, their dichotomy, their energy, their synergy, it just works. It was a figure that I wanted. I mean, with these third-party figures, is if there's enough attention, they'll make it. If you draw enough attention to it, they'll make it. Again, and with these companies, like they're coming up. Like for instance, that Boss Man, that Kingpin figure, that is one of the dopest third-party figures I've seen in a long time. Literally, if you don't have that piece, like literally get it. It is amazing. But yeah, this Rogue, I definitely wanted it. Again, listen, you with these figures, it's like some people say, well, it's a hit and miss. For me, if it's something that I've actually wanted, if it's something I needed in my collection, I'm going to actually take that chance, because not, like I said, for me, I like to really support the underdog. Do your research. If there's a figure that you really want, do not, literally, don't worry about what everybody else is saying. If you want it, get it. These third-party figures are producing really decent figures. My Goblin is a third party from, Toys Era. So is my Doc Ock. Love them both. My Spider-Man Noir is basically from SooSoo Toys. Love it to death. So I have a lot. I have Nightwing, which is basically a third-party figure. That Katana from Suicide Squad is a third-party figure. The Quicksilver that I actually got from, the First Class, or Days of Future Past. I got that one as well. So again, there's a lot of third-party figures out there that are worth buying. They might have different names, but they're still worth buying and adding to your collection. If you have an urgency for it and you want to see one, just put it out there and they'll listen to you and they'll make it. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is they're making these one-off figures, these figures that, no other company that has the IP is taking the initiative to make. So why not?
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
And Leo, I think there's a lot of good game toy stuff out there. Yeah. There's SooSoo Toys stuff out there. I have that Pop Toys Scorpion. I really love that. There's a lot of good stuff out there that is being released by third parties. I do say though that and I think most people would agree, you really do need to be cautious with it. Because I think, like anything, Hot Toys, you could pre-order a Hot Toys figure or an in-art figure, and it could not deliver also. But with third party, it's a different type of game, because you're not buying in any licensed capacity. So you're buying it. I love 1/6 Kid. I've had great experiences. If you had a customer service issue, I know he would help you out. But sometimes the manufacturer maybe doesn't help him out, right? So it's a situation where like he has maybe refund you or something, right? It's a dicey proposition, and third-party figures can come out differently. I think that with buying third-party figures, if you've never bought one before, I think you really need to love the character, and I think you really need to do a lot of, one, it helps to have a track record for the company, but that doesn't always exist, right? So because Game Toys, which I love my Game Toys figures, they're in my top 5-10 figures, right? The Sephiroth figure was the first figure they ever made. I had to take a chance on that because they had no history. They had no track record, right? And it came out really, really good. So I think, one, you got to love the character. If you don't love the character, I wouldn't buy third party personally. Other thing I think you got to think about is this is like they're well priced, but like I said, like you never really know. Like SooSoo Toys, they're great, but the head sculpt didn't come out as good on this one as we wanted. Yeah, you can put the helmet on there, but still, I just think you got to be careful. Sometimes the material usage on third party isn't as good. So like you might
sometimes
get
the rooted hair,
right? Rooted hair.
If you look at the Anakin,
right? And we knew that because they advertised it that way. So they delivered pretty much what they advertised. But I would say that overall, I think with third party figures, some beginner strategies, like you really, I think, need to be cautious. Look at what the community is saying about this company also that you're buying from. the company, the manufacturer, not necessarily the retailer, but the manufacturer. And then I don't know, look, you got it. It's honestly, sometimes you got to make a snap judgment on these things because you just don't know. Like Sephiroth, I looked at it and I was like, I really like that. I'm going to roll the dice, right? It could have turned out terrible, but I really wanted a Sephiroth, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes like it's that with Bloodsport, right? Like, there's a lot of people who love Bloodsport, but we weren't going to get one from Hot Toys. So it's like, I either get this or don't. Like that Pop Toy Scorpion. I knew nothing about Pop Toys, but it came out great, but I really wanted a Scorpion. So I was like, I'm going to get it. And it came out great. Sometimes it doesn't though. Like, I mean,
just depends.
Like, I had the Ebony Maw layout. I had the Infamous Toys Ebony Maw. I really wanted the Black Order. I didn't like that figure at all.
Yeah.
Like, and I shipped it back because it was broken. So like the suit was ripped and like it was very low quality to me. So sometimes it's just that happens. So with third party, I think one of the things you have to accept is that might happen. Like, but you also have to accept it could come out amazing. So it's really it's like a lottery thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then you gotta hunt for it because it shoots up in value. Like
but Riley, I will say, and I'll let you guys jump on this one. Like, you're absolutely right, Riley. For third party figures, you don't have the luxury of waiting really. I mean, Bloodsport you can because you can still find him, which is pretty interesting because I didn't think that would be the case. But like Game Toys figures, you don't pre-order, you're not getting it for anywhere close to retail. Like it's going for all of them are basically double retail right now. So if not more. So I just feel like, and Scorpion, I'm sure he's probably sold out. He's probably even going for more, right? So you're gonna pre-order. You got to pre-order third party, so it's not like you can sit and wait around typically.
Pre-order and get it out the way because, like I said, that 300, Rogue went in one day, bro.
Damn, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
like literally.
Yeah, I saw that on the website. Yeah, she was sold out. I got to pull that up.
She was sold out in one day, like literally. So again,
she's gone.
If there's a demand for a figure like that, then you want to place that order quick. I mean, I think the Invincible figure is still up. That Spider-Man figure is still up, but this one, when they drop. And the thing is, I love that. I love that happened, and I say that for just so many different reasons here. I'm gonna have to duck out of here in like 5 minutes though, but because
no worries,
we got
but I say that in the best interest because when there's the demand for figures like that, right?
Yeah.
When there's a high demand, and that means that they actually see that there's traction, there's traffic, and that means that they can go deeper into this line. Okay, if they like this, let's see what they would do with a Storm. I know if they release this and Lumi would probably buy all 300 if they said
probably
like literally Luminar would buy every last one. But definitely that's what I'm saying. Like if it's there and if there's attention to that, especially if it's attention given to a company that just chooses to really produce product like that, then it just lets you know that, okay, let's just open that door. Let's open up that candy bag and just see what else that we can actually pull through and maybe it'll work. I'm just all in for it, man. Like I see this and I want it. And I love SooSoo Toys, bro. You already know that. I'm an advocate for them. I have pretty much, every figure that I need from them. There might be some misses here and there. I mean, the Bat Lady that I got from them, I love it. It's just the wrist pegs. Like it doesn't have actual wrist pegs. It's just a stump that you put the arms in and it doesn't really move as much. But with the hands, but it still works. I mean, it still works for me and it basically still completes my collection a certain way. But yeah, I mean, like you said, they're going to be hit and misses. But I mean, with that also being said, there were some hit and misses with like major companies like Hot Toys.
Yeah,
and who knows, like when we get that Joker, there might be certain things that we didn't see. But I mean, that's what I'm saying. But we know that they're more reputable because they are licensed companies. These unlicensed companies, they're really trying to prove themselves. And I think SooSoo Toys is doing more than enough to prove themselves, along with the other company that's, again, Game Toys, like, come on, man. Product is definitely on point. So again, like we've been saying, if you want to pre-order, especially if something you have an interest in, do it now. And just get it out the way because in the end they were, again, like we said before, they put up the edition size so you knew exactly how many you were getting. So you had to jump on it really, really, really quick. So when they basically decide to release that, if they're going to release, like, say for instance, if they release that Riley figure with the churro box, it's only going to be like 300. Make sure you get that edition size.
I heard about that.
It's going to happen, bro.
Yeah.
It's going to happen, bro. But guys, let's wrap this topic real quick so we have time to do one more for layout. I do want to hit the super chats we got real quick. Thanks so much, Mr. Jonathan King, bro. Super generous, man. Thanks so much. Hey, gents, great show so far. Rip to the voice of Dark Knight.
Shout out to Kevin
Conroy. I know,
man. Yeah.
I
That was
know
sad,
Riley
man.
and Carlos let me know that this morning. I was like, dude, that's
He looked sickly for a little bit though.
did he?
Like,
Okay,
for a
yeah, I didn't
while.
really know
But
much
what
about
did he
his
die
work.
from? What did they say he died from?
I'm not exactly sure.
I'm not
honestly.
sure. I don't
Yeah.
even know
Yeah.
if they've said officially, have they?
Yeah,
I'm
R.I.P.
not sure.
Kevin, man.
Yeah, but I know like there were a lot of people that were really upset about this because of all the great work he's done. Especially, I know he did animated Batman series and he did some other
Right.
stuff too.
Yeah,
So
and he was such a gracious dude. Even at the cons,
Yeah.
if you sit down a meeting, okay,
Yeah, I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really awesome.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Well,
he
thank
said
you so
cancer,
much,
yeah.
Jonathan. Thanks for the good thoughts,
Come on,
man.
man.
Ash Chase, thanks so much, Ash. Where's our Peter figure from Deadpool 2? Oh, dude. Oh, the one who gets in. Yeah, he survives the what's it called?
Oh, just the guy with the mustache. Is
Yeah,
that what it
right.
is?
Yeah. Maybe
He
they'll make
signs
him for
up.
Deadpool 3, bro. Maybe they'll make him one
Maybe.
day. There'll be a third party version at some point.
Yeah.
But guys, let's address this one more topic here with Leao, and then we'll jump into as many as we can with Riley. SooSoo Toys Invincible. We got to preview this figure. So this is actually Leao. I feel like I'm warming up to it more and more each day that we talk about it. But like, because we talked about it on Leao's show on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and Leao, I love this show, man. I really love, like I said, there are some points in it where I feel like it gets like a little like, comic booky for me, like a little bit like with aliens and like different, like there's a lot of stuff going on. Right. But
Yeah.
I do feel like it really wraps up and comes together perfectly in the last two
Yeah.
episodes. The
Yeah.
last two episodes are brilliant. Like I absolutely love them. Like I said, I've been glued to my screen. I've watched that clip of him fighting Omni-Man. I guess we can say it at this point, fighting Omni-Man and going through those last two episodes and then the family drama and stuff that goes on with that. It's really, really well done.
Yeah. I love it.
Layout. What do you think overall about this Invincible, bro? I know there's only
Yeah.
500 being made by SooSoo, and it's what did 168 outfitters have for 219? So
Yeah.
and
It's
I'm
good
sure the
deal.
other places you can probably get it even cheaper than that.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
Layout, what do you
definitely.
think, man?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to pull the trigger on this figure because again, the thing is they're doing a lot. On top of that, what other company is giving you on this particular level? I mean, blood splatters like that. You know, you get like a battle damage. You know, it's put it this way. You get this figure, and it's not where you have to get a secondary figure that's battle damage. You can swap out pieces on this one, and I like that. I like that they're doing that. And like you said, the show is phenomenal. The comics were phenomenal. And I love the simple fact that they stayed true to source material when they made the actual animated show. Again, I can't wait for season 2. If you want this figure, if you've wanted it, especially in 6-scale form, this is the best representation. I would get it. I mean, because definitely, and especially when season 2 drops, and that's going to be crazy once they go down that road. But yeah, it's definitely a good one to have. The more you look at it, bro, it's just like, yeah. And we were talking about it like yesterday. Somebody on Rise and Shy, somebody said it looks like Ben Affleck inside. If you look at his face a little bit,
Affleck, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. But yeah, definitely, man. If you want this piece and you want it in hand, man, just get it. I'd say get it. It's definitely a good investment. You can get this cheap. Cheaper in so many different places and stuff like that. It's available, and you might be surprised once you get it in hand, bro. And on top of that, I mean, I look at it, it looks really good. And then here's the thing about SooSoo Toys: they always improve. They try their best to improve, and that's what they're doing. So I would do it. I love it. I'm all in.
Yeah, and I'm excited about it, Leao. Like I said, I'm definitely looking forward to what it comes out looking like. But
I think you should get it and then cosplay as it for
I have a very, like I said, I have a very teenage body, so at this point, I could totally do it, bro. But yeah, I'm excited for it, Leao. I mean, the more I look at it, the more I like it. There's something about the body, though. It's meant to be teenage looking, right? That's what Mark is.
It's
so
young, yeah.
But there's something about like maybe the proportions of it and the suit. Like I don't know. Like this is like SooSoo does a really good job, and this is like sort of a realistic portrayal of what that Invincible suit would look like.
Bro.
It could be because I do like the color scheme, and I really liked it in the show. And I love the character. I just think he has a great arc in the show. So to me, man, I'm just I don't know. I'm really excited about this nonetheless. I don't know if I'm going to get it. I think people are going to, I don't know. The fact that it hasn't sold out already kind of makes me a little bit nervous. I'm wondering if people are kind of like maybe not going to get it because Rogue went so quickly, and like Invincible was a very popular show.
Though. It was really, really high.
Rogue's
demand.
probably
I would
more
think
popular,
Invincible
but-
would be too because the show was super popular.
But the thing is, X-Men 97 is more popular, bro.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, but
Yeah, that means a lot to
It
people.
is.
More
It means a
people,
lot to a
probably.
lot of people. So it's more popular. People are going to go in on that. And they will go in on this one. Don't get me wrong. But it's just that X-Men 97, bro, they want that. So that figure, it's on. Anyway, guys, I got to jump out.
I know you got to run.
Ready to go. Thank you for having me, Will, man. I will see you Sunday. Riley, I will see you too. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later on, man. Peace
All
out.
Peace out, bro.
Peace out,
Thanks for
Lyle.
joining, man.
Good seeing you. Not the cat.
So Riley, what do you think about this Invincible figure, bro?
Dude, okay, so I'll just be honest. I actually haven't seen the show. As much as it is gotten hyped, I haven't seen an episode yet. I know I gotta check it out because I've heard really good things from this show. I gotta check it out, but I haven't seen it. So for me, this wouldn't be one that would like catch my eye. But who knows? Maybe if I see the show and I really like it, I usually see like clips of it and stuff, and it looks really badass. It looks pretty cool, so I want to check it out. But yeah, I feel like SooSoo Toys is kind of like. They kind of feel like to me like the top tier when it comes right now to third party figures because they're doing really great stuff, and I feel like they're kind of communicating a lot when it comes to comparison to other third party companies. Like I'd probably put them at that level where they're showing out, and I really like that like blood effect sculpt. Like that's really cool. I like how they added that, and I mean it just looks like a great figure nonetheless. And woo, this guy comes out of where did he come from?
I got some masculinity in this.
Masculinity in this chat, bro.
Testosterone, yeah.
Dude, thanks so much for joining, Optical, man. You're back from the dead. Optical, I know, bro. But Riley, Optical, I want to ask you, man, about this Invincible. Have you seen this yet?
No, but I know this is the cartoon show, right? Like from Amazon?
It's the animated show on Amazon.
The brutal one or something.
Did you watch that show or no?
No, I know you guys were talking about it before.
Okay,
seemed pretty interesting, but you know,
it's
like Clone Wars. It's
it's Clone Wars. It's the same. It might as well be the same show, bro. So
yeah, I mean, I heard it's really good, and then I realized it was it's cart. What?
You're like, oh, it's not the boys.
It's
exactly.
Yeah, but yeah. So Optical, what would you think though about this figure? Like, without really knowing much about the show, do you think it would be like an eye catcher on a shelf at all?
It looks like a superhero,
like a general. It's like
like a generic superhero. But I do like the swappable pieces, though. It kind of changes the look. It looks like I don't know, like a Wish Marvel superhero.
Oh my god!
Honestly, but it is. I mean, it's not the toy. It's just the look. I mean, it's yellow and blue and. I mean, it's nice though. It is.
Yellow and blue.
It's not Black Adam, right? It's not Black Adam.
Yeah, it's not Black Adam. Your testosterone's not that high.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah.
It just got lowered. I mean, Riley, did you cry after Black Adam?
Yeah, I did. I cried at the end. It was really emotional, man.
Figured.
Riley cries during every movie. Not as much as Carlos, though. Carlos.
He's crying right now. He's sobbing.
He's literally crying right now as we speak. So
Carlos cries after he masturbates. So
that's also true. That's also true. But guys, let's wrap this Invincible chat. Let's move on to the next one because I know this one, Riley maybe not can't speak to as much, but I know Optical can. The World Box and One Toys God of War. I don't know, Optical, if you've had a chance to see this one yet, but this is a third-party Kratos that was announced. And we don't even have I can't find a price yet. I can't find a listing. I haven't really looked as much today because I've been working the whole day, but yesterday I could not find one. So all I could do was pull up the Facebook photos. And they showed a lot of interesting things. There's a lot of accessories. You get Mimir with it. You get the shield. You get the axe. The axe is a little undersized. Optical, at one point you had the Mondo figure, didn't you?
I still have it.
Okay. Yeah, and that's pretty good, right?
Yeah. I mean, this looks like Mondo, really.
That's right.
Minus the head sculpt is better than in Mondo, but all the accessories is Mondo.
Yeah.
It looks like they just got Mondo, what do you call that? Recast everything. Because the weapons are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
And put some sleeves on him. And that's it.
Pretty much. Yeah. But I mean, and I was excited about it, Optical, but I'm not honestly I'm not feeling great about this one. Like I look at it, and I know not every third-party companies don't always have the means of creating a fully seamless body, right? But with Kratos, this even actually has a neck joint. They said they're going to fix that. But I mean, the outfit looks great. The head sculpt, though, really is not. I don't feel like it's there. I feel like it looks very third-party. That's what it looks like to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it kind of looks. It looks. I don't know if third party is not synonymous with cheap, right? But that's kind of how I feel about this, especially with the neck joint, which they are going to fix. I get that, but it's just I don't know the head. Yeah, what were we saying, Optical?
Oh, I was just going to ask because if you skipped on Mondo, like Mondo was pretty cheap, like $200, I believe.
Right.
If you skipped on that, and then you go to third party, let's say this is 180. I mean, Mondo has like magnetic, the shield, the
Right.
I think on the back that thing was magnetic as well. If you skip that because you thought Mondo was bad, then you shouldn't buy this because Mondo is better than this, and it's licensed. Like the Mondo one is licensed.
Right.
So, I mean, I think Mondo is still available as well. I think on GameStop you can buy it for like 180. I think.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, why would you get this?
But that's the thing. And actually, I'm glad that let's see, Philip the Fool dropped this in the chat because I didn't even know this was up for listing yet because I was looking at it, dude. So this is $286 on Kit's website. Like this is, I mean,
$286.
That changes my perception of it just because I love, dude, God of War Ragnarok. If you have not played that game so far, please go out and buy it because it is incredible and insane. But $286, I don't know if this is like a die-cast shield or something. Like
that's more than a Black Panther that got
yeah,
out.
I'm wondering if there's something, but optical, I mean, what do you think, bro? 286. I mean, that's a hefty price.
Oh, no, that's a big no. That's a big no because like even if it's
I don't know.
Even if it's die-cast, like I said, the shield for Mondo, both shields, Mondo has 2 shields, they're both magnetic. So, there's obviously some metal involved in there. Same exact what do you call that? The Blades of Chaos or something.
Right.
And then if you get dude, this is ridiculous. That thing for 286. Do they not know we know about Mondo? I think Mondo still has Kratos available.
Right. And I mean the outfit looks great, but so does Mondo.
235 initially. Yeah,
okay,
I mean apparently Mondo was 235 initially.
And
but
licensed.
235 and licensed, and it is the exact same copy. I know it's a different game, so maybe they changed the tailoring a little bit here and there, but come on now, you guys are unlicensed. The body, it looks like a generic body from like a generic figure because Mondo's bigger.
Right.
Mondo's I think it's like 14 inches or something.
Yeah.
Something that Riley's not fully aware of. Used to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the thing with Mondo is it's a different body, so the articulation is not that good, but it's better than this body. I can tell you. Look at the neck.
Yeah. They said they were going to fix that, but that's a problem. And optical, the body looks too small, honestly. Like I think Kratos is bigger than this, personally.
Yeah.
Riley, sum up your thoughts, bro, on this God of War figure, man. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of in the same way. Like, my friend, he actually has the Mondo one, so I've seen it, and I think it actually does look better than what I've seen here, honestly. Because and for the price, I remember he got it on. I don't know if it was. He might have gotten it on Sideshow. It was like on discount at one point. He just picked it up, and it looks really good. So I think anyone who actually want to pick this up, I would stick to the Mondo. I was thinking in my head, like, imagine if like InArt were to do this. I think that would be really cool. I mean, I get he has a bald head, so they can't do a rooted hair, but I think InArt, they're able to, yeah, if they can pick this up, like if you can like retail this at like 300 or 3 something, I think it'd be pretty popular. I think it'd be really awesome. So I'd say that if InArt can do that, but yeah, here for 286 total price, yeah, it's going to be a no from me. I don't think it's worth the price, and I'm not familiar with the company either. So yeah, I'd say it's a no personally.
Yeah, and just talking about like what we talked about with third-party figures earlier, you have to love the character, and I get that, but you also have to be kind of blown away with what you're seeing. And some people might be with this, but I just feel like there are too many flaws to ignore here. I mean, the neck thing they're going to fix. I mean, the shoulder joint, I don't love that. Maybe no company can do that well, but I mean, seamless with the tattoos, maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just not possible or realistic for them to do a seamless body with the tattoos like that. Maybe they would tear or something with posing. I don't know, right? But something's got to give here because I don't know. And the head looks off. Like it looks, the paint apps look very.
The sculpt is not. It's not close to Kratos the character. I don't think the likeness is there.
Yeah, like the likeness isn't there. It just kind of looks like Kratos maybe cosplaying or something. Like that's
right.
That's kind of how I feel about it. And I don't know. The body looks bigger clearly than a typical body. They're saying, but maybe the width is what I'm talking about. I don't know.
Right.
Something about this, there's a lot of things I feel like that just look off. The axe is too small, in my opinion. Mimir looks great, but yeah, the axe looks tiny. So I don't know, man. There's in 286. I didn't realize it was going to be that high. I thought maybe it'd be like 215.
That's a lot.
Or 200.
That's a lot,
yeah, that's a lot.
I mean, 286, like Riley said, this is more expensive than Black Panther.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is.
I mean, if you really like Kratos, here's my suggestion. Instead of buying this, go to eBay and look for a used Mondo. I mean, you probably
Right,
find
right,
it
right.
cheaper. Get that and get the difference, and I don't know, and buy another third party, because I mean,
Yeah.
this is just gonna get
Right, right,
worse.
right.
This is a third party. It's not like this is SooSoo Toys. This is something that we've, I don't know, One Toys.
Right.
One Toys.
It's just gonna get worse, and when it does, you just pay $286.
Yeah.
Right. That's true.
Well, guys, great thoughts on that one. Riley, I know you got to run, bro. So
Yeah,
thanks so
man.
much for joining us, man. What's coming up on the Rileyreviewz channel?
Dude, I mean, nothing much right now. I'm just waiting on more announcements. I saw that recently. I don't know if you guys saw that third party Vulture came out. It looks pretty cool. I saw Joao's video, so I don't know. I'm still waiting on Hot Toys. Hopefully they announce that, because that's kind of what I'm waiting on. But on my channel right now, I mean, nothing's really going on. I've been kind of just doing school and work and stuff, so I'm waiting for some more announcements. I saw Black Panther. I cried. Optical wants to make that prevalent. I was crying in the theater. So was Carlos though. So, and Will was crying too. So, but
all the time.
yeah, exactly. But thank you for the invite. I know I had to cut it short, but you got to get me on next week. Maybe next Friday I'll be back. But
yeah,
this was cut short. But thank you again, Will.
Absolutely, man.
And Optical for the guest appearance. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
What are you, Riley? A part-timer? Did you just come in?
Bro, I got work. I got my work.
Riley's a part-time streamer, bro.
Yeah, dude.
I know.
Sorry,
but Riley, thanks so much for joining, bro. We'll have you back if you want to be back next week. And we
dude, of
have
course.
more time to chat about this stuff.
Right,
but yeah,
right,
man.
right.
Enjoy work. Enjoy
Thank you, man.
BJ's. So
thank you so much, dude. Peace out,
yeah,
Optical.
Man. I'll catch up with you soon.
All right, for sure, dude. All right,
cool.
Peace out, guys.
Oh man.
Peace out, dude. All right, Optical. It's the core 2, baby. We're back.
Me and you.
Let's talk about this, Optical. And you know why? Because we haven't really had a chance to catch up about some of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because you've been deathly ill. So what we're gonna do, bro? We got to talk about statues, because this is a big consideration for a lot of people. Because a lot of people, I'll be willing to bet in the chat, some people have some statues. I know you have some. I have like maybe 10 or something like that, right? So it's not something where we have an abundance of statues. Most of the people in the chat are probably 1/6 Hot Toys collectors. So I think there's something to be said about a conversation about tips and considerations for buying statues. And the reason I want to talk about it is because it's all about me, because I want to talk about this Witch King also, bro. That's what kind of got me onto this. I did a preview on it, but it kind of got me thinking, because I'm undecided about whether I want to buy this. And I know there's a million other people that are doing that with other statues. But Optical, I want to ask you, like, what tips and considerations do you kind of take into account when you're buying a statue? Not even a half scale, but a quarter scale, 6 scale statue, even like maybe even a third scale, stuff like that. I mean, what are you really thinking about when you buy those?
Dude, because statue is a big purchase, and not only that, it's a commitment, because so the considerations are space first and foremost, like where you're gonna put this half scale thing. I know. Did you get Legolas, by the way?
No, see, I'm trying to decide which I want to get. I might only get one, but
I mean,
dude, it's a tough call. Legolas is like twice the price, though. You have to consider that.
Then you take the bigger. I was about to say, even without knowing the price, the bigger guy looks just amazing.
He does look amazing, bro.
Yeah, because Legolas looks good, but it's not like 100%. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's there. With the Witch King, you can't really go wrong. He doesn't have a face, so I mean,
can't mess that one up.
yeah, like, and it's bigger, so, but it has a gimmick too with the light up sword. But going back to your question, I guess size, price, those two things, and along with the price, obviously, is is this going to be the final version? Because that's what we always talk about with statues. It's like, I don't want to buy twice. This is not 1/6 scale where it's like, oh, the next movie I'll buy the next one. He's going to be fully Shang-Chi on this one. So I'll just, because you can buy like 5 Shang-Chis before he becomes really Shang-Chi and you won't even feel it. But with this, you want to be like, man, is the pose right? Did they nail the pose? Do we have all the accessories needed? This is gonna be my final purchase, even though sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, with Witch King, I mean, half scale, there's not gonna be even if there's another Witch King, I don't know what you can add to that. The post looks pretty phenomenal. He got the sword switch outs. So, and if another company's gonna make them, and even if they do, how much improvement can they do? I mean, not much. So with that, I think it's a pretty easy decision. But with other statues, that's where you kind of like with that Black Adam that you just showed.
Right.
That is kind of like, all right, we'll see. This one, the good thing about this is you could use this as Legolas or Jon Snow's wife, whatever his name is.
Either way, it's just more blonde.
Either way, you have representation of Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings.
Mhm.
So, just
That's
make
true,
him redhead.
That sounds like a win all around.
Yeah.
But the rooted hair on this optical, this is pretty. I mean, this is something to factor into this because you're paying a lot more for statues typically. Like this statue has rooted hair and it's a silicone head sculpt, right? So you're paying almost $3,000 for this thing. This is not something to be taken lightly, unless you're just a goddamn baller and you can buy anything you want, right? Then by all means, do your thing. But I just feel like there's a lot to factor into it. Like you said, space is probably the biggest thing. Space and money are the two biggest things. Because for me, when I'm looking at how much space I'm going to have in these module cases and maybe in this room in general, I'm thinking about half scales and quarter scales and third scales. And I'm like, you also have to project, I feel like, what's going to come out in the future, because I have a finite amount of space and moving on from a statue is not fun. So if I buy the Witch King, for example, and then half scale Loki comes out and I need that space, then I'm pretty much screwed, right? I have to go and sell that thing and then make space for Loki. So for me, I think you have to, one of the tips I would give people in consideration is think long-term. Like what characters do you really want in half scale? Because you want to save room for that possibility. Is it realistic that that character gets made in not only half scale, but in any scale that you would want it, right? Like, is there a realistic chance that a Terminator Arnold gets made in half scale or third scale? I would say probably yes, right? In a good, Darkseid's making them, but they're not great in my opinion. Like, but could Queen Studios make that? Very, very possible. Right. So I feel like you would almost have to project that a little bit optical, don't you think, to kind of think about the future? Because moving on from statues, like selling them, trust me, it's not fun. So.
Oh yeah, I learned, I've seen you firsthand with that Joker. How and as you know, you can't predict anything right now. You want to say like, hey, Hot Toys is like we had troubles like selling things, not just Hot Toys. Like everything's in stock. So imagine if this is in stock and you want to move on from him. This is the thing, like as good as this guy is, we can honestly say there's room for improvement. And this is a $3,500 statue. And you kind of don't want to say that for something that's worth $3,500. You kind of be like, oh man, this is it. This is it. But imagine if Queen makes, because it looks like they're going to get Lord of the Rings, with in art. And maybe, just maybe, they'll tackle, like the half scale, quarter scale. And what if they come out with one and it's a banger? How are you going to get rid of this? Right. You'd be like, all right, 3,500. You could. How much are you going to eat to get rid of this? So I think those are the factors that you need to look at. It's not as easy as Hot Toys. Like, all right, you know what? I'll lose 50. I'll lose 75. It is what it is. I'll lose 100. And here, potentially use half. To get rid of this guy. And it's not like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna buy that Queen Studios Legolas and I'll figure out what to do with this. No, you can't do that with statues. No. You gotta get rid of one first before you buy the next one, because you're not gonna. Where are you gonna put that? It's not like, all right, I'm gonna put Legolas in the back. Let me rotate my Detolf. So.
Right. It's not that simple with statues, man. Like, and for example, the Sauron I have in quarter scale, I absolutely love that. Like, I thought about, hey, maybe I'll end up selling that and just get the 6 scale Weta or something, and then get a half scale Lord of the Rings line and just roll with that, right? Sauron, yeah, he's going for at retail or above retail right now, so I could probably get pretty close to my money back, if not more so. But shipping him, I would be dreading that, because there's so many parts involved and it's such a big statue that I'm just like, for one, it's going to cost me hundreds to ship it, and two, just to packing it up, the logistical issue of packing it up. Dude, packing up that Joker was enough. I was like, dude, there's so many like little cards and little extra things, and Hot Toys are 6 scale figures are very simple to move on from, because you can literally put them back in the box. They're simple to put back, very easy, and people buy them much easier. With statues, you have a smaller market, I feel like, of people willing to buy secondhand, because one, something more could go wrong when you ship it, and two, it's more expensive. So the higher price the item, the smaller the market gets. So when you go to buy something like this, I feel like you have to really be cognizant of a lot of factors. For statues, I try to preach the idea of trying to buy at least for like 5 years that you're going to have it, right? Maybe a lifetime preferably, but we all know things happen. Better versions come out, different versions come out, other characters come out, and you have space that you need. I've moved on from plenty of statues. It happens, right? But nowadays, I feel like I've become more and more selective to be like, am I going to keep this long-term? Because if I don't see myself saying, yes, I'm going to keep this for a really long period of time, and if I throw out the hypotheticals in my own mind, like say Loki gets made, what am I going to do, right? Say Terminator gets made, what am I going to do? Am I going to get rid of this? Like, then I probably would be like, let's just hold off then. You know what I mean? That's what I would say. But
I think the price is the biggest scare for statues, because and then secondly is the space, because like quarter scale, the ones behind me, or premium format, I feel like it's still in the same realm of Hot Toys, where I was like, all right, I'm gonna pack it up, and so there's not a whole lot of risk into it. But once you go to third half scale and you exceed $2,000, that's where you kind of have to pause and be really mindful of your purchase. Be like, all right, this is gonna be the representation of this character in my thing, otherwise I'm screwed. Because even if you buy a Batman, like how many Batmans do exist out there? The person who's going to buy that Batman statue must really love your statue for him not to buy the other available 300 Batmans out there.
Right.
So,
and optical, there's always the possibility, like say InArt makes this in 6 scale, right?
Yeah.
Then I could be like, well, I could have just got him in 6 scale and saved space and money. So I don't know, but there's just something about this piece, bro, that's really speaking to me. I really like it a lot. And it's not just the price. I know Carlos said like it's the price for Will. That's great. I love the $1,500 price because that's really good for a half scale. But I just love the pose, the outfit, the presence, the light up sword, dude. I just think there's a lot to like about this statue, personally. But that's what I would say, bro. But yeah, there's a lot to consider with statues. So I think people really need to be, and me included. And I have to do this. I have to keep myself in check all the time with this. So yeah, man, it's a thing. Optical, I want to ask you something. I know because you have a lot of Hot Toys. I have a lot of Hot Toys. I'd be willing to bet if people in the chat have a lot of Hot Toys. I wanted to ask you, why did we buy Hot Toys to begin with? Because one of the things I've tried to do in the last couple of live streams is like really create some conversations and content for people that are coming in new to collecting. And I think also there should be a conversation that's good for people who have been collecting for a while also. But just kind of talking about why did we buy Hot Toys, right? Why do we continue to buy Hot Toys? Because I know the realism is one of the biggest factors, but I think it goes deeper than that. So what do you think, Optical? Like, how do you kind of rationalize this? Is it really just kind of a simple as, I think it looks cool and I love kind of posing and doing photography? Like, why do we think we keep buying these?
I think it's the allure. One of the allure there is it does look real, right? And then I guess being a man child in that nature, who'd be like, all right, I'm gonna buy something and it looks real. And then on my mind, I have this thing was like, all right, it's gonna tell a story when I display it. It doesn't tell a story, they just stand there. Like literally, it's there. But in your mind, you're convincing yourself, it's like, all right, man, it's gonna look good when I put them next to this, and I'm gonna buy 3 of this, and then I'm gonna line them up. I'm gonna put an LED light. It doesn't look, they're toys. It would never look that good in your head. And then the more you add to them, the more cluttered they look, the less good they look. However, it still won't stop me because I don't know. I think this is the worst year that I've had with Hot Toys. So I bought a lot.
In terms of spending, you mean?
It's in terms of spending. It's so easy to buy Hot Toys nowadays. And I said this many times now on the stream. I gave up on the display part of it. On the display, the one that you're seeing behind me, this is the most curated part of that, and that's considered curated. For now, I just buy it because like I want to keep that imagination going. Kind of like it keeps your, I guess, inner passion going, whatever that means. Kind of like you have this idea in your head. I always had this idea in my head. It's like, all right, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna match it up with this. I'm gonna take a picture. Never take a picture. I don't know when was the last time I uploaded anything on Instagram.
Well, you've been like deathly ill, so that's
true. But I was just like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do. I never do, but deep inside, I guess it gets my creative flow going, even though there's no creative thing going on. But it keeps your mind, your mind going. It keeps the gears rolling. And honestly, it's a good thing. I think it's a good exercise of your brain, as long as it doesn't bankrupt you. And if Hot Toys bankrupts you nowadays, you're doing it wrong. You're not going for deals. But as long as it just Shiny says to surround his bed and protect him from the monster. Hey, whatever
floats your boat, bro. I mean, do what you got to do.
If you tell someone, hey, you know what? You never know. They might be currency when there's zombie apocalypse. And
that's hey, you could trade Hot Toys for medicine. So.
Yeah, it'd be like, hey, this person died, and here he signed this. I asked if he could sign this before he dies. So
Chris Evans signed this before he turned into a zombie.
But yeah, I mean, there's something about Hot Toys, the realism of it, the accessories, the fact that you can pose them around, and then there's so many complementary pieces with them that in your brain, whatever these guys who's collecting, I don't, the ones that are watching us right now, whatever their vision is, I'm pretty sure it hasn't happened yet, and it probably won't happen. They're giving like convincing. Oh God, you have COVID. Get away from me. Kidding.
Everybody has COVID at this point, bro.
But it was just like, yeah. I mean, I think we all have this vision, and whatever that is, as long as it's still healthy, it doesn't, do harm to you, like somebody says here. That's what it brings me happiness. I guess that's easy to say, because he was like, oh, a nice car can bring you happiness too. Yeah, I'd rather buy multiple things than one nice car.
Exactly. And optical, I think one of the reasons I asked this question too is because I think people do wonder from the outside looking in, saying like, why do people buy Hot Toys? Like, why do people pay the prices they pay for Hot Toys? And it's interesting when from the outside looking in, that could be a very legitimate question, because I thought that way before I started buying Hot Toys. I was like collecting things like props, doing cosplay, whatever. But I was looking at Hot Toys and I was always like, man, those prices though, like it's an action figure. Why would I pay $250? And it was $250 at the time. Why would I pay $250 for a figure like that? Until I got my first one, and then it becomes real to you. It becomes legitimate. It becomes normalized. And then at that point, you're like, okay, I can start buying more of these because it's normal to buy this. Like, especially now, right? If you ask most people, 99% of people, I'll give you a PS5 or a Hot Toys Carnage. Like, what do you think people are going to say, right? They're going to say, I would buy a PS5. But the collectors out there like us, some of them might be like, I'll take the Carnage, right? Which is pretty crazy. So not crazy and wrong, but it's just crazy in that it's different than what most people would expect or say. So I think, man, I don't know. I think one of the reasons that I buy Hot Toys is because they give me, like you said, it's an outlet, right? It's an outlet for us to express our enjoyment in something, and also to express our own creativity. And like you said, how we display it, right? I think it's pretty cool. It gives us something to do, productive, right? Because there are any number of things you could be doing. You could be going out and, buying drugs or, prostitution, whatever, right? Like, but we're here sitting here buying figures. As long as you're not bankrupting yourself or, destroying your savings, then, I mean, by all means, we're doing something that I think allows us to connect with like-minded people and to get things that make us excited. I mean, you don't have to be like, ridiculous about it, but I mean, at the same time, I think it's one of those things. I think we buy them because they look cool, they make us happy, and they give us something productive to do that allow us to sort of represent our excitement for the film and the characters. Don't you think? I mean, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of us here, even the ones watching, whether they agree or not, the reason you bought the figure is maybe you like the movie. I'm guessing like that's a big part of that. You like the movie and you want to relive that movie, regardless of how good you pose the figure or not. Let's say you're a terrible poser, which I'm not the best poser out there, but in your mind, it'll be like, all right, I'm gonna pose it like this, and then you take a picture. It looks so out of what you're thinking, but you had that enjoyment. It's like you take you took a crappy photo of a figure that's worth 10 times more than your camera, but you can't buy a decent camera because you bought all Hot Toys. But that's fine. That's fine. I think that's the best part of it. Is you get to relive your passion, whatever. Not all of us can be directors. Not all of us can work in the film industry. So I'm guessing this gets us closer to being a part of that world, so to speak, without being in that film or whatever the case is. We feel like, hey, I can relive the moment. I can surround Mandalore. I'm gonna buy a lot of Tusken Raiders and surround. I was like, why would you do that? But but in your mind, it was like, all right, this is gonna look really cool. And to a I guess, politically correct way, all of these guys, if they stop collecting Hot Toys tomorrow, it's not like they're gonna be rich in a year. They're gonna find something else to do,
right?
Whatever that is. Buy rims, I don't know, collect GI Joes, go back to Black Series. Some things are just more expensive than others. Like if you ask a normal person, like you said, they see Carnage, they'll be like, what the heck is that?
That thing is massive.
Spider? Is that a spider? I was like, yeah.
Right.
But if somebody shows you a compensator for a gun that's worth $800, you'd be like, what the heck is this? You feel the same way. I was like, this is a piece of metal. I was like, yeah, this is $800. It's like, what?
Right.
This is
Well, I think it's funny, Optical, because I always, not just Hot Toys, but with statues too. Like I'll show them something. Like usually it'll be like a girl that's here on a date, right? Or someone like that. You bring them over and they'll be like, that's really cool. And they'll be like, how much did you pay for that? And I'll be like, $2,000. And they'll be like, I don't like it anymore, right? That's the story that I always tell people. Like the Pennywise, right? They're like, that Pennywise is so cool. It's great. And they think it's maybe like $400, $500 maybe, right? And it's 4 times that. If you told them like, most people wouldn't know any better. You'd be like, how much do you think that Hot Toy is? They'll probably be like, I don't know, $70 or something. Like that's probably what they say when it's more like 400. So I think it's just a matter of it's normalized to us, and you get used to something pretty quickly when it becomes normalized. So that's why even buying statues, that's maybe another tip we should have said. Going into the statue game, I never thought I would pay $2,000 for a collectible. But once you do it once, it becomes normal. And you're like, okay, that's $1,500 is not so bad, right? And now that like when you do this type of stuff, Black Panther at $265, that's really good, right? Because you're used to paying more than that. So,
Will, with that being said, let me ask you, like a segue to this. Do you think that's a bad thing? That once you, and this goes to, because unlike, let's say, a compensator or let's say a muffler or, you know, a cat bag, let's say a car, a rim.
Yeah.
I guess difference or a handbag for a girl, because it's okay to feel weirded out with the price, because we do that too. Like if a girl tells you her handbag is like $8,000,
right, that too, yeah,
you're gonna be like, what the heck? Because we don't know, right? We don't know how much is that. So I think that's fair that they would feel the same way with our stuff. With that being said, do you suggest that I guess the difference is the handbag they can bring out, right? Like they can use it. I do use this Hot Toys, not the way Lane uses his Hot Toys, but I
that's totally different.
That's totally different. But do you suggest that though? Like, because at the end of the day, these things, they just, you know, they stand,
right,
and they don't do anything.
So what do you mean suggested insofar as like, do you suggest,
like, yeah, do you set a limit on how much? Because we talked about passion and your love for this. Does that have a limit, like a line that you shouldn't cross?
It does. For example, like, I mean, this is an extreme line, but for example, Optical, I don't know if you saw that life-size Hulkbuster that just got put up. So it's $72,000.
Oh no.
Right. That I don't even have that much money. Like, so, I mean, even if I did, say I had $70,000 in my bank account right now, and I could be like, I could buy this Hulkbuster and literally have no money. Or that's I think where the line is, right? And sometimes, for example, like I got San Diego Comic-Con tickets, right? That cost me what was like $150 for 2 days. But the flight out there is another almost $600. So at that point, I had to drop all that money at once. So that's why I haven't pre-ordered Legolas or the Witch King or anything like that, because I think that's where the line is, where it's going to become where the point where, yes, I have the money, I can pay for it, but I want to also pace myself and not put myself in a stressful situation where I look at my bank account and I'm like, yeah, I have the Witch King, but I want to build my savings, right? Or I want to invest or whatever. So I feel like there's a line there, even with Hot Toys. Like you have to, that's just how I do it. Everyone can do it differently, but I feel like it's healthy to kind of maybe stop yourself a little bit sometimes and take a step back and just pause for, like, if you can pause, like, because sometimes you got to pre-order fast, but if you can pause for like a day or so or even more and think about it and just be like, where am I going to put this? What kind of money what is my situation looking like? Because I feel like it's very easy to get overwhelmed and overly excited very quickly. And like, because back maybe a year or two ago, I might have just pre-ordered the Witch King already. Like I might have just been like, well, I really fucking like it. So, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And I still might end up getting it, but it's like, I really got to think about it a little bit and assess my financial situation and be like, that's where I think the line is with Hot Toys and any other form of collectible, I would say.
No, with that, like, is there a point where it's creepy? You feel like, you know, kind of like
extending it past one room, you mean? Like,
yeah, kind of like, are you obsessed? You know, because there's collecting and there's being obsessed as well. I mean, it might be a topic for a different day, but it's not like with that. I think that notion, it's not a matter of if you can afford it or not, because obviously you could. Right. The question is, should you? You know, should you own a life size? Let's say, you know, it's not a question of, hey, can you afford an $8,000 Loki? You know, half scale. Should you, you know, I guess.
Right. Exactly. I mean, because for most people, I mean, that type of income, that, you know, I would assume maybe there's some really high earners in the chat, but like most of us are middle class, like we're middle class earners. So that's the point where, yeah, these statues do get pretty pricey. And same with Hot Toys. I mean, they're not super pricey on their own, but if you buy a lot of them, then they totally are. So I think, yeah, I mean, I had to catch myself recently because, I'll give a story to people, Optical, because you knew this. Like, I lived in Delaware, right? I was living with a girl. It ended up not working out. I moved back to Maryland, right? At that point, my space was lessened because I moved back into a space where my brother had already done things with the house, right? So I had to make the decision of like, I had to get rid of some things, right? Because I didn't have quite the space that I had before. And I think that type of stuff can happen to you, right? You can travel to different places. You can have circumstances change. Maybe you have a kid, right? Something like that. And then your situation changes. So I feel like there's so many factors to consider here. And the way I've kind of tended to approach it is everyone can do things differently, but I started to let collecting invade other areas of my house, like the living area, like my upstairs, my actual room, right? And I get to the point I feel like where it's like, okay, the collecting is taking over my life, and I'm not becoming Will anymore. I'm becoming like Will the collector, right? So, and that everyone can do things differently. Like that's fine. Like everyone, that's great if you want to do that. But for me, I just feel like it's good to have a healthy balance. And sometimes you don't see that until someone, maybe family or friends or someone pulls you back slightly and you're like, okay, take a step back from this, look at it and say, look at this, realistically and logically, like, let's try to assess what we have here and try to keep it. I don't know that. And I've even done that with other friends too. So what about you, Optical? Do you feel the same way? I mean, cause buying Hot Toys, I mean, it's not an investment, but like it's a monetary investment we're putting in. And a lot of us are putting in a significant amount of money here. So
yeah, I think the biggest, I would say, self-check would be, like you said earlier, depending on what your living situation is, right? Like I have a family. I don't want Hot Toys or collectibles in my living room. Like just me. I want
right, exactly. I would be the same way.
When somebody walks in, I don't want a half scale of Iron Man in my kitchen.
Yeah, right.
I want my kitchen to remain like a normal household.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm in a converted walk-in closet, and I mostly stuff him in here. Now I don't care if there's through the roof or something. Ideally not. When it starts getting out of hand and started like selling some things, but I'm also not a curated kind of guy who'd be like, oh, this needs to be spaced, half an inch with each other. It's like, no,
right.
If they're cheap, I'm going to buy them. If I buy them cheap, I'm going to figure out, turn around, see what the most expensive thing in my collection is. Then I'll get rid of them. And then I'll cycle through that. But yeah, once it then starts invading, if you have an Iron Man in your bathroom, then I think something's going on there. Which is like taking a poop and they'll be like, oh man, there's no lights. Let me
turn on the Iron Man light.
Iron Man lights, right?
He even has toilet paper on the roll on him. Dude, but yeah, that's kind of how I view it. And like at one point, Carlos and I had the conversation because I bought Module cases, right, for my 6-scale figures. And they'll be here, they said actually in March. I'm pretty excited about that. So, and I got enough to hold about 70 figures, right? So Carlos was like, well, why don't you do a whole wall of 1/6 where you can have double that? But that's just too much, man. Like that's like 70 figures is about, for me personally, everyone's different. For me, that's about where I feel comfortable and not overwhelmed. Like that's a lot. But if you start having too much where I'm just like, okay, I have so many, like, trust me, moving those things back and forth, it's not fun. Like if you ever have to move this many collectibles, I think that's when it becomes real to you. Like, and that's why I think it's so important of setting that sort of guideline, being like, hey, like I have a finite amount of space. This is the amount of room I have collectibles for. So if you want to buy new things, if you're full, you have to sell some stuff, right? That's just how it works. You can't keep expanding to other areas of the house because I've tried to do that. Trust me, I did it. And then it took me a while to realize this is not healthy and not good for me.
And it's not going to stop. It's
never going to stop. It's like a thing that grows out of control. It's like a monster. So again, I don't mean to lecture people, but this is just like an example I can give about myself that I think is helpful to people. So I don't know, man. But hey, we got to do a real philosophical chat there. I love that. But let's end that topic real quick, Optical. I want to ask you something on the vein of figures, right? Top 3 Spider-Man Hot Toys figures. Top 3 Spider-Man, and I know you have some quarter scale. We can use quarter scale. We'll open it up to quarter scale if you want, because there's some pretty good ones, right? And it's funny, Optical, I was thinking about this before we started, and there are some really good ones. And one of the ones actually that I wanted to start with, if I can look it up real quick, was the tech suit. So the Spider-Man movie promo, you could also get the Homecoming one, the Homecoming Spider-Man, because I think that one is just really well done. That's my favorite suit that I've seen so far. And I just think it was the most iconic for me personally, just because of its role in Civil War. And yeah, Homecoming I really liked as a film. I didn't love it on the first watch, but the more I watched it, I was like, I really ended up liking it. And I just love the look of the suit. And Tom Holland's my favorite Spider-Man. So I would give that one. I would also say actually the and I'm gonna cheat a little bit here. The text or the Tobey Maguire suit, because that one they've labeled friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And if I can find it real quick, yeah, if I can, I think when I typed in Toby, Sideshow search is so weird, bro. Like there we go. See, if I type in Toby, it'll pop up, but if I type in the actual name, it won't. So Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, I think this is really cool. It's not out yet, but I'm cheating a little bit here. I think this is one of the top 3 Spider-Man figures. Really like that one. One of the other ones, Optical, I'm going to surprise you a little bit. The Hot Toys Advanced Suit Spider-Man.
PS4?
Yep, from the PS4 game. I had this and I ended up selling it at one point, but I still really do like it a lot. The reason I sold it is because I got a good sale for it. So, but I really love the game. I thought the game was really great, and I'm excited to see the sequel. So, Optical, if you had to name your top 3 Spider-Man Hot Toys figures, what would be your 3?
Okay, so when I do top figures, I factor in everything: accessories, price, all that. I guess my number 3 would be classic suit, because it's like $270.
Okay,
it's classic from PS4.
Oh yeah, that's the one they put out recently, right?
I think so. Yeah. The one with a nice base, with a house and everything. So that's third from PS4, because that would work on anything basically. I'm going to cheat a little bit here. Is Miles Morales technically Spider-Man?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. So I'll put that as number 3. I'm not going to put Toby in there, because potentially he could be in there, but he's not out yet. So I'll reserve that later on, but I'll put this as number 1. I'll put this Miles Morales as number 1.
So not the video game one, this one.
That is number 3. This is my number 1, and my number 2 is, because this one's $270, and you can pull off, I don't know, 4 looks for this. It's basically whatever you ask for innovation from Hot Toys. Like, you swap out the mask from the hair, so you got 2 head sculpts, basically 3 with the mask one, interchangeable eyes. The shoes are amazing because you actually make it as a shoe. It's not like you take the pegs out and replace it. It's a shoe. And I know it's not accurate, but they're not going to pay Nike. But it has 2 outfits. There's a lot of looks that you can interchange this with. New body. So for $270, I think it's $270. I mean, it's a steal. That's my number 1. My number 2 is the what was that? What do you call that? Advanced suit?
Advanced suit. The PS4 one?
No. The one from Tom Holland. The second one.
Yeah. The are you talking about the
upgraded suit?
Upgraded suit. The red one.
Upgraded suit. Yeah, I think that's $256. 2 heads, a head sculpt, interchangeable eyes, of course, and all that stuff. It's posable, that one.
It was this one.
It's $251. It can't be $251 with 2 head sculpts. You can do all these poses, and it still kind of looks like the Spider-Man of No Way Home and all that stuff. But I think the head sculpt is upgraded. Maybe it looks different, at least from that, and it has the glasses and all that stuff. So those are my, for now at least, for the ones that are released, I love those 3.
Yeah, and this is a really good one, Optical. I had this one too at one point. I had this figure and I really liked it. I ended up selling it though, because I knew with No Way Home, I'm like, there's going to be a bunch of other ones. And I think you could probably still go and pick this one up pretty reasonably. So they actually have a battle damage version of this. So the battle damage only had like a few spots though. It wasn't really like super battle damage, and it wasn't even accurate to the film. Like, it wasn't even, it was just kind of a thing that they did. But I really like the color scheme on this one. I really like it a lot. Miles Morales, honestly, probably should be in there for me. He probably should be in my top 3, but I don't own that figure. So it's hard to say. I guess I don't own the Toby either, but the Toby I'm just kind of projecting a little bit, right? I'm projecting a little bit. But Miles, you're selling me on the Miles Optical. I feel like I want to see what the options are for Black Friday for him, because I love Spider-Verse so much. I feel like I almost need that Miles. I feel like I
think you do. Like, I told you, like, I bought Gwen in anticipation of Miles.
Right.
And Miles didn't disappoint. Like, the neck piece, they should do that on the next Spider-Man, because you see this, he has the turtleneck and
right.
But with Miles, they had a separate neck piece, like a rubber piece that you put on top of it. So, that Miles, you could really buy 2 if you want to, depending on the price, because right now it's kind of silly to buy anything for retail.
Right.
So if it goes down, anyone who doesn't own it and like Spider-Man, I highly recommend that.
Yeah, and the only thing optical, I guess the hesitancy would be if there's another Spider-Verse film coming out. So we might be something else that we like from that too. But that OG Miles, there's something to be said for that. I mean, that's the original Miles.
The film itself is great.
It's
so
amazing,
I don't,
dude.
Yeah, I think you can technically have that representation of that Miles from that film and be okay with it.
Right. And dude, I would definitely put him in the hood, the Spider-Man suit in the hoodie. That's the look, bro. Because him jumping off the building, becoming Spider-Man at that point, yeah, that's for sure the thing going on. But yeah, man, Spider-Man figures. So really exciting stuff there. So Optical, I wanted to ask you one final question here. And I appreciate you jumping in like this. Favorite characters, how good is good enough? I know you and I have talked about this a decent amount because I want to share something, and this is actually be close to home for you. This is your video. So The Last of Us Joel. This is SooSoo Toys. This is Joel and Ellie. This is the clicker too. The clicker, it's not really a huge, I mean, they didn't nail the clicker because there are things they could have improved. Like the skin should have been a little more deformed, like stuff like that. They reused Ellie's outfit for the clicker, stuff like that, right? But Joel and Ellie are really what I'm kind of focusing on here because the question I want to ask is how good is good enough for favorite characters? Because I think I'd be willing to bet for people that were willing to accept mediocrity or maybe slightly above mediocrity for a character that we truly love. Because The Last of Us SooSoo Toys, I had them. They're perfect examples, right? You and I love The Last of Us. We absolutely love it. It's my favorite IP of all time. I've said that many times. I have a tattoo of it, right? So I absolutely love it. So I had these figures. The only reason I sold them is because I was able to get a good amount for them and InArt may make them. So that's kind of my hope, right? I'm holding out. If not, I'll go back and buy the SooSoo Toys or maybe someone else will make them. It's a very popular IP. People will explore it. Optical, how good is good enough for your favorite characters? Are you willing to accept, something not great?
We're talking about it earlier, why we buy Hot Toys, right? Because the attachment to the film, you got this creative thing in your brain. You're asking a guy who's in 2016 or 15 started buying Asmus. Asmus. I bought him because I love Lord of the Rings. So this is where I'll be like, hey man, I love Lord of the Rings so much that if a good one comes out, like right now, InArt is making one, I'm willing to upgrade. I don't care. Like right now, I bought these guys, and yeah, they're not Hot Toys quality, but for me, they're good enough. I want a Joel standing in here, regardless if he looks like Joel or not, because I know he's Joel. His name is not even Joel, right? Like
they named him Joe.
Yeah, his name is Joe.
It's just one letter different.
It was just like I know he's a hybrid of Red Dead Redemption, Joe Marsh or whatever his name is. From Red Dead Redemption. But I need one. Like I don't. If somebody makes one like you do, unless I can sell this for a high price. So to answer the question, yes, I don't care if it's a 7 to some people. To me, like it always bumps up 2 points. Like if some guys tells me, oh, that's a 5, I was like, well, it looks like a 7 to me because how much I love the IP. I've dealt with Asmus Aragorn for years now. I have Legolas from Asmus, and for me, it was just like until a better one comes out, this is the best one that I have. I own the best version. So far, I do, because no one else has a better version of like these guys. So, is it all about you again? Is that what you're asking? Because
exactly, bro. It's all about me always. No, I'm just sharing this figure because I can give a personal example, Optical, because I really love Scorpion and Sub-Zero as characters. I love the film. I love the games. I just love them as characters. So having a representation of Scorpion, I was really excited about, especially this one, because I really loved the film. I thought it was great. I'm a big Mortal Kombat fan, and I thought it was a great representation. So this figure turned out great. Yeah. So I'm really excited about this, but I mean, there's no doubt about it. Like the Game Toys figures, too, Opticals with Final Fantasy. Like if Hot Toys made them, it wouldn't be a question, right? It really would not be a situation where I'd be like, oh, well, Game Toys probably did it better. I doubt it, right? I doubt that they would, but I do think it's good enough. If it's a character that you love enough, you're willing to accept most things. Unless it's absolutely atrocious, which a lot of these third parties are not. They're not atrocious, right? They're just not great, but they're satisfactory. And at the price you're paying for a lot of them, more often than not, it's probably going to be enough for you. I think like if you look at, like I said, the Pop Toys Scorpion, you look at any number of third-party figures. I mean, like Game Toys are actually really good. So is this one. But those SooSoo Toys, Joel and Ellie, I mean, they're not terrible, but they're not great. Like they're not, but they're Joel and Ellie. So we're willing to accept that because of what they are. So to me, how good is good enough? I feel like you said, like a 7, like a 6 or a 7. It's probably, if it's a character you love enough, I think most collectors are probably willing to accept a 6 or a 7 and probably be happy at the end of the day. What do you think?
The only thing that if I was a fan, the only thing that I would make that, because there's only 2 options with that Scorpion. It's either owning a mediocre one or not owning one at all.
At all, right.
So I don't know which one is a better option. For me, it's always owning the one that's not atrocious. The only atrocious thing that got released nowadays that I wouldn't even own one, even if I was the biggest fan, was that Anakin Skywalker.
The Anna Karen.
Yeah, that one, I'm like, let's say I was the biggest Anakin fan, I'm willing to close my eyes. I was like, I'm not gonna own that. Like, or I'm gonna put the hood on permanently.
I'll buy the Hot Toys at that point.
Yeah. The thing is, we if you don't have an, like with that Scorpion, you don't have an option.
Right.
Your only option is not owning a Scorpion. And nowadays, what are you gonna be like? Hey, you'd rather save $150. It's like, you buy a $3,000-$4,000 statue with $150. Really, would you really lose sleep because you bought a third-party Scorpion for $150? I mean, or you can just hold it to your house, like, hey, all right, yeah, it's pretty good. You know, maybe if maybe a better Scorpion comes out, you know, in 3-4 years, and I'll sell this for $90. You know, you can always move on from these things. Why would you compress your happiness just because they might make one? Might is the key word. So,
well, and Opto, the reason I brought up this Omni-Man is because this is still a good figure. It's definitely not bad, but it's one of those things where, to me, I just feel like there are issues with the body. Like, this guy is way too small. Like, this is like, it looks great. The head sculpt looks great. The suit outfit and the tailoring, I'm not crazy about. There's something about the suit. I know you haven't seen Invincible, I don't think, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like in the show, he's a really big dude. Like, he's really big. He makes The Rock look small. So he's a very big character. And they've clearly used just a typical male body here. So, but I don't think you can use that for Omni-Man because he requires something custom or bigger. But SooSoo didn't do that. It probably would have been cost prohibitive to do so. So it's kind of like, you know, we just got to roll with what we got. But if you love Omni-Man and you love the character enough, you're probably going to end up still getting this, right? There are issues. There are flaws with every figure. But I wanted to bring up also something that I think we hinted at. This, right? This is the Anakin figure that they talked about, the Revenge of the Sith, the Chosen One. This is Joel's review, Big Bretta. And he showed this figure. And, dude, I mean, you could very easily work on the hair. You could cut it. You could put the hood on him, whatever, right? But if you want an Anakin bad enough, you might accept this.
You
right?
might. I mean, if I don't want anything that bad enough.
Yeah, I don't either. But this, I think, would be the line for me. This is where the line is.
Oh my God, I don't know what they were thinking when they were doing this. It probably looked good. Probably sounded great on paper. It was like, we're going to make Hot Toys regret this decision that they didn't make this a rooted hair. I was like, yeah, it's nothing rooted about this hair.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess, you know, like, but here's the caveat though. How much is this guy? Like 180?
Maybe something like that. 180, 200, probably something like that.
The thing is that Omnibus Man, it's not embarrassing to own.
No. It's good.
Just that it's not accurate.
Right.
This is borderline, you know, this is borderline embarrassing to own.
Imagine bringing a girl over for the first time and showing her this and be like, who is that? Is that Anakin Skywalker? Like, who is that?
It was like, I think he's calling for the manager.
he's you could even have him pose that way. He's like calling for the manager.
He's raising his hand.
He's raising his hand. He's expressing concern about the service.
Yeah, dude, it's Jedi Council manager.
This Anakin wants to speak to the Jedi's manager. This is unfortunate because I really want an Anakin too, but not at any cost, not at this cost. Like, no,
I would have been happier with the sculpted hair that's a different color, because that's not embarrassing to own.
Right.
It's kind of like, oh man, they didn't nail it. But you know what? I'm just gonna put the hood on or something. In here, it's kind of like, it's there.
Yeah, you can't avoid it. You can't run away.
You know, it's kind of yeah.
Dread it, run from it. Destiny arrives, bro. Destiny arrives. So
it's
Thanos tried to warn us, but yeah, good chat on that one, Optical. How How good is good enough? I mean, I don't, you know, that's a
Not,
question.
not
each person,
that's not enough.
that's not enough for that one. So we're gonna have to pass on that one. But Optical, we're gonna wrap it there, bro. Thanks so much for joining, dude. I appreciate you hopping in last minute like that. Is there anything coming up on your channel? Because I know you have some reviews that you haven't published yet. So you gotta tell the people, bro.
Reviews from the ones that I bought from you. I think those are.
Oh, really? What did I sell you? I forget.
What was that?
Because I sold you the White Walker. You reviewed that.
Oh, I
sold
did.
you
That one I did review.
Short Trooper you reviewed, right?
I think I did. Yeah. Wait. Oh no, it's Carlos. The what do you call that? From Game of Thrones as well. I bought some
probably
Game of Thrones
Torment or
was
whatever.
Torment. I don't think I put that up yet or
Yeah.
But yeah, I was keeping them for this AdSense spike.
It's that time. It's that time.
Yeah, I was just like, I'm gonna do a live stream, but yeah, no, not when I'm dying. But yeah, I got some. I got a few Smart Hulk. This has been with me forever. So I haven't put that out. I got Moth that I just got, Cable. So yeah, just keep an eye on those. Every 2 days I release one just to keep the AdSense revenue flowing.
It is that time of year, dude. So and Christmas, I know. So guys, if you see that from and it's not the reason I'm doing it. I'm trying to actually grow my channel and get some more engagement from the community. But December, people start ramping up a little bit. So because it's around Christmas time and the AdSense goes up. So that's definitely a thing. But yeah, man, Optical, thanks for joining. Guys, thanks so much for watching. We'll be back with this show every Friday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Collectors Mingle will be live every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And there'll be plenty of other videos. I'm going to review some stuff. I got to talk to Optical about getting a new tripod. So, because mine, I had to order another plate, bro. Like I moved, you know, and I can't find the plate to my tripod. So I can't mount my camera to it. So I can't review the Kylo helmet or the Joker because I don't have a tripod right now. So all I have is this little one that sits on it's like a table tripod. But so anyway, guys, be on the lookout for that. There'll be other reviews. These will continue to be in clips. So we'll have that up. And yeah. All I can say is thanks so much for joining, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Bye.